And we are live with episode 170 of the
Wow.
Start, Build, Grow Show. Randy Brothers, my friend, what's going on? How we doing?
Living the dream, man. The weather's holding up. Trying to finish the year strong. Q4, right? Trying
Mm-hmm.
to navigate the holidays coming up and about 300 conference season coming up and all that. But enough about that crap. We have another wonderful guest back for the second time. I
Yeah.
know you, man. I think you broke the record, or you broke the internet last time you were on the show,
Oh, thank
and unfortunately, I wasn't there, which is another reason why the ratings probably spiked. But I'm excited to have you back on Powerhouse. In the roofing industry, you guys are just making things happen out there in Texas, is dominating your market, and I see you all over the place on social media, and we're really excited to have you on board. So thanks for joining us, Kimba.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. I appreciate it. What an introduction.
Well, hey, you're living up to the hype. We see you everywhere on social media. The people in the industry love you. You're doing a bunch of great things. We see you speaking at events and all that kind of stuff. So great work with that. We appreciate everything you're doing for the industry. So, Kimba, I know you were on in the past. We kind of shared your story a little bit, but I think that was probably about 2 years ago now. I mean, time
Yeah.
flies. It's
Uh,
crazy, right? So we like to go back into story mode, right, where we bring back how you got into the roofing and restoration space. So, Kimba, what's your background? What were you doing before roofing, and what drew you into roofing?
so it's so wild, right? Because the roofing industry is like the land of the misfits. We all come from something. Not nobody wakes
So
up with
true.
a. Yeah, I wasn't a little girl and like someday I'm gonna own a roofing company, right? So it's always so I was a hairstylist for 10 years.
Okay, right on.
Decade of my life I spent doing hair. I got into the roofing restoration space. My husband Robbie worked on the road. We wanted to get him, Cliff Notes of the story, wanted to get him off the road. And he's talented in construction. We actually started our business focusing more on remodels from the labor perspective.
Hmm.
He started working underneath other GCs. We were building roofs under other GCs. I remember the first RKG polos we bought. We actually run around and door knocked companies we door knocked their offices, right? Like companies like mine now. And I'm like, hey, you have the sales team, you're doing the things. Like, we just want to build the roofs. Just let us build the
Hmm.
roofs. And we started off RKG really the first 2 years like that. But especially the first year. And I very quickly realized how much money that there was on the sales side of things and how the GCs will basically take like 40% of that margin off. And then here's the peanuts, right, to do the labor and materials, figure it out. And the flip side of that is we did really great work. We were known for quality work, and I was having to watch somebody else get to stamp their name on the beautiful things that we did. And I'm having to show up to job sites and like their T-shirts and stuff. And so I eventually told Robbie, I'm like, man, it's going to be more than worth it for me to just jump in full time, start building out the brand, the sales, the systems and processes, like making this a real business where we're doing our own fulfillment and we're not doing fulfillment for other people's businesses anymore. And I came over full time year 2 and walked away from hair completely, which was scary. I knew I had a lot to learn, but our company had started growing so quickly that I knew that I either had to learn the business and get in front of the business, or the business was just going to run us smooth over.
Hmm.
So I really pushed into the education side of it. And I had a lot to learn. I'm great with people. I'm great with relationships. I mean, obviously, as a hairstylist, I did a lot of listening and a lot of communicating. And any business is a people game, really, right? It's just changing the product up a little bit. So I had to learn roofing. I had to learn insurance, but people are my thing. So I pushed into that, and what I didn't know, I just learned and figured out.
Hmm. And so, I know Randy has a bunch of his family members in the company at Elite Roofing, right? I know he's worked with his mom, his sister's the
Yeah,
CEO of the company, right? You're
love it.
running the company with your husband, right? I mean,
Mhm.
how is that? How is having, your personal life and then also balancing running a company together, and then to kind of go with that, who focuses on what part of the business? Where are you guys' strengths?
So now we have somebody for every seat of the company. I mean, I'm at a conference right now, and of course, operations are still running. And the same, Robbie and
Hmm.
I can both go out of town, and there's people in place to hold everything up now, which is really nice. Of course, hasn't always been that way. So but to answer the question, I focus on the front. He focuses on the back. He handles, I say that, but right now he's our top performing sales guy. He's just got to the place where do you want to be in the business? Where do you benefit the business the most? And for Robbie, it's sales, because he's really good at selling off of that construction knowledge. He's actually a builder, so he can educate the customer through the build, and he's not just out there being the high talking, the high energy sales guy. He's educating them through the process. So he brings in, honestly, most of RKG's revenue. Robbie is he's over our top sales guy by about $1.5 million for the year right now. And I run the show. So I'm the one that built out the systems and processes, the way that we do marketing, recruiting, hiring, onboarding, the way that the files move through the office, the different departments and who does what. I built out that whole workflow, and now I oversee all those things. And I'm constantly going back and having to revamp those processes, right? Because they break as things are happening. But so my job right now is I keep the wrinkles ironed out of what I've built and continue to innovate the process.
Super cool. I love that.
I love that because, we kind of get it twisted sometimes where, you just think you have to fulfill a certain role just because you own the company. But the
Sure.
reality of it is you really need to build the company around what you're really good at and what your strengths are.
Yes.
If you're like an absolute rock star salesperson and you love doing sales and you're really good at it, build the company around that. Why not? I love that.
Yeah.
You guys are a prime example of that. And
Yep.
and on the flip side, there's a lot of owners who aren't good at sales, but they just stick with sales because they feel like they kind of have to, and they can't let that piece of the business go. Whereas they might be a much better implementer, much better operator, much better at kind of building back end systems or production or invoicing or back office stuff. But it just I guess the lesson there is really figure out your strengths and then build your business around that as a leader, right? As an owner.
Yeah, and I'm really big into what makes you happy and what do you like to do, because it's really hard to show up and crush something when you're miserable. So, I'm really big on just my personality type. I don't really like to get too deep into the numbers. I appreciate them and the patterns and everything, but I'm so thankful that I have somebody in my office that's very analytical, that's very stern and keeps the processes lined, because I want to be everybody's friend and everything's so cool. And so I do think that being a really good business owner comes down to being just hyper aware of your strengths and weaknesses, what you want, what you don't want, what you don't want to do, but it still needs to get done. And then who's the best person to fulfill that? What personality do they have? A lot of times we want to just like bring in our homies or our family members, right? And like, I'm going to give you a job and now I'm going to figure out something for you to do. And I'm just very against that. Like, create the job and then find the person that has the best skill set and personality where they're going to be happy in that role, because they'll crush it for you that way. But a lot of times I see people try to be like, well, Nancy can do the estimates. And I'm like, just take Nancy off the table. Let's build the position, And so for us, we took the position that we wanted in the company. And I think that that's major for burnout over time, because this is not easy, right? So for me, I have to show up and be fulfilled every day. And I just love knowing that we're at a place now where Robbie and I both have that within our company. He's very fulfilled in the field every day and out there doing what he loves on the roofs. And I'm doing the same thing in the office with the people internally. And it's worked out really well for us, especially over just this last year and a half, even 2 years. I just totally rebuilt everything about RKG internally. And I'm loving seeing that work. That's really fun for me.
And that's where the fun is. The fun is in you mentioned this process is once you build a process or a system, it's going to break. Or good leaders break process, right? It's like I joke around about it, but it's a little bit true. Like, my job as the visionary of as the navigator of the company is to break the process.
Yeah.
Build a process. Somebody's got to break it, because if you're not breaking and you're not trying to push forward and to create new ways of doing things, that's where you get kind of stale and stagnant. Another thing you mentioned there that I think really correlates is happiness with strengths. Because, think about it. If you're doing something that you actually enjoy and that you're really good at, you're naturally going to be a little happier, and you're naturally going to be more fulfilled with your job each and every day. And a lot of that kind of burden and pressure of the challenges of building a business kind of starts to subside a little bit, because you're doing something that, you're using your God-given gifts to do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Kim, but you seem to always have a lot of energy and be very excited about what you're doing. Is that why you just found the sweet spot in what you're doing and you're just enjoying it?
If I can get a little bit personal with y'all for a second, because y'all know I don't mind doing that.
Let's do it.
To be honest with you, Nick, that's not who I've been my whole life. In fact, I've struggled heavily with anxiety and depression most of my life. I really feel like I've only been on the other side of that for about 6 years now. So for me, there was a few different things at play there, right? Like I learned and I grew my own mindset, and I realized that we're all, not only are we capable, but we're designed to feel happiness and to be fulfilled. And I think that just, we're all kind of predestined to this. Well, work is supposed to be hard or miserable or whatever the case is. I'm so thankful that I found a different way. But overall, it's been the financial side of it. It goes along with the mindset, right? Because it's really hard to be happy when you're struggling to keep the lights on. And the roofing industry, I come from being an 18-year-old single mom. I come from humble beginnings, to say the least. And so it's one of those things for me when I realized I'm like, oh, there's a different way to live. We can be fulfilled in our job. We can really love what we do. We can lead with passion. And whenever I started growing myself mentally and I started realizing that even depression is a choice and all these different things, the roofing industry introduced me into that. And right now, the reason that you see me so hyped up and energetic and I'm just like, go, go, go all the time is I found a real passion for introducing other people into that, a new way to make money where you can still have your time and still really love what you do and you can help people. But there's a lot of money in this if you're good at it. So for me, it's taking people that are in that, like, I really can't find the misfits, right? I really can't find my own lane. I really can't find my happiness. I really don't know what I'm passionate about, and being able to introduce them to the restoration industry and teaching them the same thing that changed my life. Like now, I love everything that I have, don't get me wrong, but when you're not having to pay attention to, even with these astronomical gas prices, it's like, this morning I stuck my card in and I was like, I looked over, I'm like, $86 to fill in my Navigator. That's the first time that I've looked at gas prices in months, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So I like to teach other people. I'm like, man, what is it like to just be able to stick that card in and not have to like watch for it to hit 20 and like stop right on that dot, because that's just your gas budget or whatever. I've just fallen in love with showing people a new way to live, a new way to make money, a different way to do it that's not so sad and depressing and just the broke mindset, both up here and in the bank account. It's just a different way. I love showing that to people because I just didn't know.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned a few times mindset. And it's so important that, to act as if, right? Act as if you already are successful. Act as if you've already achieved your goals. And you just ingrain in your mind that I am the person that I hope to be someday, right? I am the success. And I love the fact that one of the things I believe in is, and I think with Kindred Spirits is like, help others see that and help others succeed, and you all rise. And that's where true success comes from. And I love that. And then thank you for sharing that too, because I think there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people that have experienced those sort of things.
Yeah.
At one scale or another, if not everybody. Yet we hear about the success and the energy and the positive, but the reality of it is, life in general is not easy. Business is not easy. Like all the things, family is not easy, and we got to kind of go through the hard times in order to learn and grow from those. But how you learn and grow and how you react from those really determine who you become as a person.
Exactly. Yeah. The pain grows us. And I tell all of my guys, I'm like, I'm real big on setting intentions. Robbie and I actually took them out to the field for the first time in months. We really had time to get out in the field with them. And one of the things that I did is, we had a little team circle before we assigned the streets and knock the doors and do the things, right? But before we went out, I was like, set an intention for what you're going to do today. How many claims are you filing? How many claims are you filing? And we went around the circle, and everybody that said, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 2. Maybe you don't hit that every time, but what I did see is they got 2 and a hot prospect for that 3rd one, because we set that intention in I call it my subconscious genius. It just goes to work for you. When you set true intentions at a subconscious level, you don't believe the resources that you already have that you don't know you have up here. And when I learned the power of just being able to, like you said, the vision, right? You're the visionary. I can absolutely create anything I want, right? I have the vision of that. I can reverse engineer the process. And the great thing about me and my journey is that I've learned such a high degree of self-trust, where when I map out how I'm going to get here, I can also count on myself to execute on every single one of those things. So I don't stress out about it anymore. So this is where I'm going. This is how I'm getting there. These are the steps required. I know I'm going to show up to that every day. I've proven that to myself. So anything as long as you can trust yourself to execute, reverse engineer the plan on where you're going, what can you not do? And that's what I love to teach the sales reps. So I just set that intention. How much money are you making? How many claims are you filing? What are we doing here? Because your brain will do its thing and create that reality for you way more often than it won't.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Belief and willpower.
Yep.
You got to first believe it. If you
That's
believe
so
it,
easy, doesn't it?
and yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sounds so easy. And then you got to
Easier
have the
said than done.
willpower
Yep.
to know that you're going to achieve your goals. Like when you're writing down a goal, there's a huge difference in saying, I would like to get 3 new claims today.
Mm-hmm.
How about writing it down? I signed 3 deals today before the day even starts.
So,
2 different mindsets. One of them is I own this and I'm going to make it happen mindset. One of it is there's doubt. I would like to, or I plan on. There's doubt. There's doubt in there, right? I am doing this. I have done this, and then there comes that willpower, and there comes that belief in yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Difference. And we've been working on that too with goal setting and trying to, change the way we word goals, with my clients as well as, my team, is because I think there's so much power in, that belief of I've already achieved this, and it's just a matter of time until it happens.
Yep, 100%. Well, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, right? Now, I just looked up the stat too. It's kind of crazy. They said that people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to actually achieve those goals. So that's a pretty cool statistic there. Now, we talked about having intention and everything like that. Now, I do want to dive into the intention behind you and the marketing that you're doing for a personal brand, right? I feel like in the industry, you are one of the best in terms of developing your personal brand, being consistent with content, creating engagement with your pages. What made you start wanting to do that and start to build up your personal brand?
I already was doing that with hair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whenever you're a hairstylist, you got to get the clients to your chair to be able to put in the highlights. I've always been a self-employed hairstylist. I was already had a little following on social media because I did all the weird pink and blue hair and all the things. I was the hairstylist to go to in the community where I live. And, I'm thankful I already had a little bit of traction there to follow up on. I just started telling people, hey, we're doing this now. And they're like, okay, well, I own a home, great news. So a lot of my client base honestly just kind of moved over into construction. But from there, people ask me all the time, Kimba, how do you have all this time to put out all this content? And I'm like, it's actually really easy. You just stop in the middle of your regular ass life, snap a picture. What are you thinking? Right? Like, I'm a deep thinker. I really am always thinking these things. It's not hard for me to put my thoughts down on paper. I love to write. So I can bust out even that long copy content you see me doing. I can bust that out in 15, 20 minutes. And I'll just sit in my driveway. I'll sit in my car and I'm just hammering out my real thoughts, what I'm actually doing. But what that does is it creates a level of trust because I'm honestly not creating content. You'll notice a lot of the things that I do is done with my iPhone. I'm not using a lot of fancy equipment. I'm not taking I know that there's a place and a time for that, but a lot of what I've done is it's on the go. It's on the fly. It's very organic. It's very real. And what that's done is it's led people to trust me, which has led them to trust my company. When people know and see who I am, they also want to join my team, right? They see my culture. I do a lot of talking about my sales guys and their real wins. So for me, it's just, we started this off with, let's get back to the story. People love the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I work with business owners on all the time is they'll be like, Kimba, I don't have a story. And I don't think that either. To me, this is my regular life. This is normal stuff. But to other people, it's really cool. And people have been like, it's why we love movies. It's why we love podcasts, right? Because we just are ingrained to love the story. And that's all I do. I just show up on Facebook every day very consistently, right in the middle of my regular life and my regular day. This is what I'm doing. This is what I have going on. And that's just built up that trust and rapport and consistency that's worked great for both generating leads, building relationships in the industry, getting me on stage at these speaking events, recruiting new talent to the team. The benefits that come with it, I actually cannot even calculate into a monetary form because there's so many benefits that come with that personal brand on social media, and not being afraid to put yourself out there as the person behind the brand. Like RKG is I'm the K and the G, Kimba Garcia KG. Like, I'm going to stand behind my brand. And if I know about a problem, you can trust that I'm going to make it right. Now I have to know about it to make it right. But at the end of the day, if there's a problem at RKG, it's eventually going to make its way to Kimba, and you can trust me that I'm going to get that worked out. It's not that we're perfect, but I'm super accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not afraid to let people know that about me. I'm not perfect, but I'm here for you, and I am accountable. And when you use my company, you can depend on that. And so that's why I do all the personal branding stuff too, as well.
And
And
I want to. Oh, go ahead, Randy.
look at the what are people watching, right, on social media? They're not. It's not about the pre-scripted, anything. It's just real life. That's what people want to see. They want to see. They can relate. People can relate. Like, you don't have to have a story, because your life is the story, and there's
Exactly.
always somebody out there that can relate to that. And just being transparent and being real and owning your mistakes and owning your success, people are attracted to that and really appreciate that. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
100%. And I think some people get overwhelmed with like feeling like the need of having high-end production or super planned out content. It's just like you're saying, like you're very organic with it. I think you even made a post about how you could be more organic with it and the appreciation that people have. And I do want to dive into some tips that you might have for people who are trying to develop their own personal brand. But one thing I thought was interesting too. So did you guys made the Facebook group, that networking lounge too, right?
Yeah. Yep. I created that.
So you have 1.8 thousand members on here, right? So that thing's growing. That's doing great. What was your idea behind creating that Facebook group? I thought that was pretty interesting as well.
Nick, when I first started that thing like 3 or 4 years ago, and it really was just about creating those referral partners in the community. I've since launched my brand CEOAF, where I actually work with some of these business owners on building out processes, and I build websites and I do logos and I help them with back end processes for their business. So I use it for that now too. It was, I don't know, I want to say a passion for me. It started out just really trying to get those relationships and referrals. And then it came to, again, that making a difference and an impact, because I just realized that I'm like, oh, you can climb out of the trenches in this like small business building thing, right? Like you don't have to claw your way. There's a lot of ways to skip some stuff. So now I just go in my networking lounge and I just do a lot of, I try as often as I can, right? Get in there and just add some value to small business owners, because I genuinely know how it feels to be working your way up from nothing to something. And those are my people. Those are my kindred spirits. I just love people that are not afraid to get in the trenches and get a little bit dirty. So anything that I can offer from all the punches that I've taken to the face to help anybody skip something like that, that's really what that group is for. And I do open that up for anybody can post in there. Like if you crush something, like please bring it in the networking lounge and share it with other entrepreneurs, because that's really what that community has grown into be.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. You got to be thinking about it. People are utilizing different networking groups like BNI to network and get referral partners. Obviously, things changed during COVID and stuff like that. I mean, it's a great way to still get referral partners and create those relationships with other businesses. I mean, local communities are posting in here, whether it's projects they've done or whatever it might be. You're doing business spotlights, so it's a great way to take that networking groups and stuff like that and bring it online. So great stuff with that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Do you have any other tips for people who are trying to build out their personal brand and try to have a positive impact for their business?
It really just, I know it sounds so simple, but it really just comes back to keeping it real. I mean, of course, and people always ask me, how do you do the cool fonts? So that app is Fonts X. Okay.
Yeah.
Fonts X.
Honestly, that's actually pretty interesting, because I've always seen you do different bolds and highlights and stuff like that, or italics and stuff like that. What was the website again, or what was it?
So there's Fonts X, and there's also one called Lingo Jam. But if you just Google Facebook fonts, you're going to find some free options, some paid options. You just got to decide if you want to take over your keyboard or copy and paste. Like there's some different ways you got to go about doing it, but it's really easy. So that's mostly my biggest advice to somebody that's just getting started with writing social media posts, right? Is if you do a long copy post, nobody's going to read just one. And I used to write like that, just one long paragraph that's this long.
No, you got to break it up, right? That's the key, right?
She does a good job with that. Yeah.
I need to get better.
I really try to make sure that my content is, I want to capture you here, to make you here, to get you here. I want you to, hopefully at least like graze the whole thing. So I'm also big on popping in, that you'll notice I pop in those emojis and those font styles. And so I guess it's just, it's okay to be real. It's okay to be transparent, but mostly like get a little bit weird with it. Have a little bit of fun. Like the silly emoji at the end of it, it's adding that emotion to your writing, and people are able to feel that. The colors in the emojis grab people. Like all that's with intention when I do that.
Yeah.
Even when I'm being silly, it's because I know I'm grabbing people's eyes. I'm keeping their attention throughout that paragraph. A lot of times I see people, they have a lot of great things to say. They have a lot of impact that they would make. And I'm like, it's really unfortunate that nobody's going to read that paragraph, because we don't show up to social media to learn, where really most people are scrolling. I mean, think about when people are using the social media. It's when
Yeah,
we're checked out of what we're supposed to be doing, right? It's when we're just
exactly.
taking that break. We're not coming there to be sold to. We're not like, something needs to catch our eye and engage us to get through that much copy or writing. And so that's really the biggest thing, though. Keep it real, tell your story, take pictures in the middle of your regular life. You may not think you're cool. Somebody out there is going to, right? You're going to attract your tribe. And then just make sure when you're writing that you're doing it in a way that's just kind of spoon feeding it, remembering that this is social media. It's not website copy. It's not a blog. It's not a novel. Like, when you're writing copy for social media, be weird, be fun, be real. That's what it's about.
Nice.
That's awesome.
No, I like that for sure. I mean, you do a great job with the italics and the bolding and everything like that to kind of separate those long form posts. When you're writing those long form posts, do you have like a thought process of how you're going about that? Because I feel like those long form posts, where you're writing a lot of information, it I don't know if everybody's doing it right. You know what I mean? In
Sure.
terms of of keeping everybody engaged in that post, like you're saying, people are hopping on Facebook for pretty much a relief from what they were doing. You know what I mean? Entertainment of some sort. So, do you
Yeah.
have any kind of strategy in those long form posts?
When I take the time to use my strategy, I do have one. Sometimes
Mm,
I'm just kind of spitfiring it out there. But if you want to really be, and you should, I mean, I guess if you're going to be doing it a lot, I always try to use the beginning of it to catch their attention somehow. So something that's a little bit weird that just makes them go, what? Because people are nosy,
oh
so if you
yeah.
can just make it a little bit dramatic at the beginning, like, they're going to get hooked in.
Yeah.
I always like to end it with a question as well. I mean, a lot of people nowadays are familiar with the way the algorithms and social media works. So I try to ask a question. You'll notice in my live videos too, I'm always like, let me know if you're here live. Let me know if you catch us on the replay, right? Like, all those kinds
Yep.
of things. I gotta sorry, let me adjust this on us here.
Oh, you're good.
But what was I talking about? Now I
It's
had
all
a
good.
train
Well,
of thought.
I have another point with that anyway, so it's all
Okay.
good. Well, so that was going to
Yeah.
ask you on the engagement. I feel like you do a good job with creating the engagement, right? So I'll see you have 70, 80, 90 comments and stuff like that. And let's be
Yeah.
for real. If
That's
you're
so
doing
funny.
any kind of business, right? Let's say you're not selling in the post, but the people who are engaging with the post, the people who are writing comments and engaging with you, those are like, that's prime. Like, that is money right there. That, how have you been able to create those kind of engagements and get people commenting and talking and creating a conversation?
I'm so sorry to have to ask you this, Nick, but you really broke up through that question.
You
Can you
are
ask me that last
fine.
part
Do
again?
do not even worry about it. So I
Yeah.
was asking about engagement, right? I noticed that you'll have posts with 70, 80, 90 comments on there. And that is crucial, right? Those are the people that you want to be doing business
Yes.
with, talking and building
Yes.
relationships with. How have you been able to stimulate those conversations in your posts?
So whether it's a live video or the long copy post, I'm always doing it with the intention of creating conversation. I'm not just trying to, like,
Mm,
one-way dump on you, right? I want it to be a two-sided conversation. So whether I'm saying, let me know you're live, let me know if you catch us on the replay. On my video yesterday, I'm like, tell me something in the comments that you're grateful for right now. I want to start this video off with gratitude. So I'm always just doing something, whether it's a live video or the long copy, to say, I want to hear back from you guys. And then another thing that I do is I loop back. Actually, I had somebody thank me for this the other day, but I try to respond and reply to every comment on there. If I get 10 comments and then I respond to every one of them, now I got 20. Well, guess what that did to the
mm-hmm.
algorithm? Now I got 3 more people showing up. I'm able to keep that same long copy post alive for like 3, 4, 5 days by just going back in and replying and commenting and creating those conversations. But in those conversations, I'm creating real relationships.
Yep.
While we're on this, I want to say one more thing about real relationships, because I got this other hustle that I love, and it's telling people, all my Facebook friends. I do miss some days, so if I missed your birthday, I'm so sorry. But I do like to reach out to my Facebook friends and tell them happy birthday. And I'll
Yep.
do that with a voice clip instead of just happy birthday or post on their timeline. The other day I had somebody,
Nice.
because I actually sang him happy birthday, and I'm like, you smell like a monkey and you look like one too. Like, it wasn't your
Hey.
average birthday song, right? Like, I'm always keeping it weird because people remember that. And
Yeah.
so it's funny because he reached back out to me and he said, Kimba, you never cease to show up with a personalized touch, girl. And I was like, well, I know that you can handle the full me because we have that a little bit of a relationship. So I know that he's good with that. But I'll always, whether it's, hey, girl, saw today's your special day, want to reach out and tell you happy birthday. It's important to me to keep real relationships with my Facebook friends. Like, thanks for being here. I'm really using Facebook to not just, like I said, to not just like push one-sided content out at people, but to use this platform to create real relationships. Because truth be told, most business owners, if we took Facebook off if we like erased Facebook or we erased Instagram or LinkedIn, and we took the name of the platform off of it, and I just said, hey, you have a free resource where you can reach 5,000 to 10,000 people a day for free. Like we're paying Google for all these views, and we're spending all this money on marketing, but so for free, right? Just a little bit of transparency and bravery and creativity, you can go touch 5,000 to 10,000 people a day or more on these different platforms. And I think when business owners can look at it from that perspective, they can start to see the value in using social media to build these real relationships.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like you're saying, I think we accidentally as business owners sometimes do the one-way dump where it's just we're pushing our content rather than what you're saying is more nurturing the community, right? When you take the time to respond to these people, ask them questions and try to stimulate conversation, it's nurturing the community and it's growing relationships. So I'm all about that. We have met Ben Menchaca. He's been listening and said he's been super stoked that he's been on this episode. He says I gotta step up my font game. So I'll put in I'll put in it was Lingo Jam was one of them, right? Right, Kimba?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that link in there too. So Ben, you're posting all the time, man. You're getting good engagement. So now next time I see you posting, I expect you to hit us with some different fonts.
We want the curly font, Ben.
Yeah. Let's get the curly font. I think that will go. I think that. So what I do want to do is we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors. Then we'll dive into the rest of it. We'll go into some other recruiting and talent development stuff. We'll talk a little bit about back end processes and then the company branding, and then we'll kind of close it out from there. But we're going to give some shout outs. We're going to start out with Job Nimbus, our headline sponsor.
Job Nimbus is a fully customizable back office solution.
Track leads, jobs, tasks from one easy-to-use software.
And with the largest ecosystem of integrated partners, if we don't do it, we have a friend who does.
Learn how the #1 back office system in roofing
can help you be efficient, be organized, be professional, and be profitable.
So if you guys have not checked out Job Nimbus somehow, make sure you check them out at info.jobnimbus.com/roofing-academy. And of course, we want to give a shout out to the best proposal tool on the market, the tool that's going to allow you to stand away from the competition, and also make sure that you're just looking good and saving time with those proposals. We're going to give a shout out to SumoQuote. Are you looking to stand out with your proposal? SumoQuote is the contractor quote that crushes the competition. It is the fastest way to build custom quotes that impresses clients and wins more work. It's one of those must-have technologies for roofing contractors, allowing them to sell faster, sell more, and sell smarter. Be sure to check them out at try.sumoquote.com/start-build-grow. And then last but not least, we have our friends at C3 Group.
C3 Group's learning management system allows users access to digital training content, virtual trainings, and integrated chapter exams, all with the goal of helping a student prepare for user certification exams, as well as prepare them for real-world situations we know are faced daily. As a leader in this marketplace, we will continue to add value wherever possible to better our industry as a whole. Join us today and be part of that change.
The crew at C3 Group is unbelievable. We just had Jason on last week. Every time we bring somebody on the show, they're just unbelievable. And us here with the Roofing Academy and such are big fans of virtual training. So if you want to get Xactimate certified, make sure you go into c3adjusters.com and then click down on the Xactimate training, and they'll take it from there. And you guys will be happy you did it. Now, Randy, man, we've been talking a little bit about personal branding, man. We've been ranting on that stuff, learning a bunch of different stuff about creating content, all the benefits of personal branding for your roofing company. Is there anything else you want to touch on specifically? I was thinking about recruiting. Is there anything specifically you want to touch in?
I'm observing and I'm listening and learning right now. I mean, that's one of those things that I understand the value. And it's funny you talked about how, sometimes early on, like people don't know what to do, what to say. You want to have we would plan ourselves out of actually doing it. Right. Mm-hmm. We're like, we talk ourselves out like, well, I don't know what I'm going to say. What if I mess up? I'm going live. I don't have the perfect content. I don't have the perfect outline. I don't know what the perfect topic is. And I remember what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, after after a conference where, we went to a big conference, and Nick, you and I met Gary Vee, and he was this whole session on personal branding and how that's going to, be the next wave of any sort of thing in business. And if you want to grow your business, you got to turn your business into a brand, like an online brand. You have to turn your business into a brand. And that really resonated with me. And I was like, I got to figure this out. I got to take the plunge and be the face of my company. And I was scared shitless. Honestly, I remember the first time I clicked that live button on my phone, like I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, what are people going to think? What are people going to do? And what are they going to say? Like, and I think a lot of people feel that we get anxiety, and like, we're so worried. I think as a culture and as humans, we're so worried about what other people are going to think. Right. And we tend to kind of, here's the thing, we idolize and look at these top level people, athletes and influencers and all these people. But what do we actually pay attention to? The goofy people posting on Instagram and the the random TikToks. My wife and her friends just go out and they go camping and go to these events, and they just have so much fun together, drinking wine and making TikToks. That's what people are watching. They do a TikTok, get like 250,000 views of some random dance that they did. That's what people are watching because they can relate to that. So what I've learned to do is, and honestly, I consistency. I understand the power of that, and luckily the show helps me stay up with the consistency. But like, I've actually had to be really intentional about, like, after a certain time at night or after a certain time, I'm like, I love you, I love my Facebook friends, but I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and comment. And I just can't. I just got to separate work and life a little bit, and maybe that's to my fault, But at the end of the day, putting yourself out there and understanding that if one person is influenced in a positive way or impacted, or their life is touched a little bit by something you say, for me, that's enough. So before I get on stage, before I go live, before I post something, I just tell myself it's the power of one. If I can help one person, is it enough? It is, I think.
Absolutely. 100%. Well said. And that brings me, you mentioned influence, right? And the impact and everything like that. Josh Cotner asked on the comments, Kimba, let's see, what did you say here? What made you, let me see, what gave you the idea to become an influencer?
Josh asked me that.
I
don't view myself as an influencer, so it's hard for me to answer that question. I just literally am me, and I guess people have to like that or not like that. But back to what Randy was just saying a second ago, I just want to encourage anybody that's going through this kind of like I'm scared thing. And I mean, this is not to hurt anybody's feelings, but like, most people don't care about you that much. You know what I mean? And I say that in such a good, calming way, because it's like, they're not judging you like you think that they are. If you show up, with that certain level of confidence, like, most people are not just sitting here picking everybody apart. So that helped me get over the fear of just getting myself out there. And I am referred to as an influencer lately a lot. And I guess I take that as a compliment, because that means that I'm making the impact. But I'm right up there with Randy when it comes down to, I know the engagement's important because the algorithms, the more people can see it, the more impact is made. And that's obviously the goal. But for me, I just am putting my own truth and my own story out there. I feel like I've been through a lot and I've learned a lot. And I just feel like I have a lot of value there to add to other people that are going through that same thing. So I just try to get out of my own way and tell my story and tell my truth. I think that there's a lot of power in that. And I've just always kind of been natural in wanting to do that. So there was never really a time.
Oh, I think we got her muted somehow.
Oh, she's back now. We lost you for a second. But I think
I got a call from it. Sorry.
I think you said it well, Kimba, though, is when people are always worried about being embarrassed, they don't really care. I mean, no one is judging you, because the thing is everyone else is so worried about embarrassing themselves. That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
What I mean. Like, everybody has their own life and their own things going on, right? So it's like, it's not always, they're just not always caring as much as much as you think. And sometimes whenever I'm speaking, even I feel like I'll hold a long pause, because I'm kind of gathering my thoughts sometimes. And when I go back and watch those videos, I'm like, man, it's just absolutely amazing how I don't notice that when I'm pausing. It feels like I'm paused for a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
When I go back and watch it, it's not that way. So, if you're nervous about it, or you're really not sure what you're going to say next, it's okay to just kind of hold that pause, take that second, collect your thoughts, and go back at it. The people watching don't notice like we do ourselves in those judgmental moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you ever, get trained professionally in the speaking world, right, learning how to become a speaker, the pause is one of the most important pieces of speaking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you're just feeling, and again, you can go to one of these local groups, and they're gonna buzz you if you say ums or ahs or all those things. The pause is the most powerful piece of speaking, because if you're just talking, and you don't actually let your viewers like settle in and totally
Follow it.
digest what you're saying, they're not going to actually get it.
Yeah.
So
So true.
pauses are fine, and it's a little trick too to regather your thoughts. Right, you
Mhm.
make a point, and then
100%.
you and me, like I've done that too. Where I'm in the middle of something, I was like, "Oh, what squirrel?" And it's like something comes on, and I totally lose my train of thought. Nick, many times that's what like remind me, "Hey, this is what you're talking about." We're on a live show right now. Crap, But the reality of it
And I
is,
think it's so great because it reminds people that, hey, we're human. We're all human.
Yep.
We all
Yeah.
have a moment where it's like, oh my God, a call just came in, and what were we talking about?
yep. And I think
that's okay.
it
I think that's okay.
as we stay off the rails here, there's a lot of more people listen to the podcast than actually tune in and watch the live show. And I
Mhm.
think what gives our podcast so much teeth and what people get so excited about it is it's not pre-scripted. It's not edited. It's just what you hear is what you get. It's just real people talking about real things, and with the purpose of trying to grow as entrepreneurs. That's who we are, and that's what we do. And I think
Mhm.
that's really what gives the podcast. So for those of you listening to the podcast, this is my plug for you to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and be careful driving. So we
Yeah.
do appreciate the podcast listeners. And if you do want to chime in and check out the show, you can definitely look it up on Facebook and on YouTube.
Heck yeah. Well, so Kimba, I know you've been nice enough to join us. You've been traveling all around. You're speaking at the Grace and Grind event. So we really appreciate the time. So I'll start to bring this thing to close. But as we start to bring it to close, we always end it with the golden nugget. And I make Randy go first, so it gives you some time to think about it. It could be something to avoid. It could be something to implement. It could be a quote. It could be anything you want. A life lesson. I could care less. Whatever you want to leave the viewers with. But Randy, for the 170th time, what you got, my friend?
All right, man. I kind of start. I think I'm going to start preparing for these. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm probably not.
No, you're not.
You knew it
no.
was coming, Randy. You said 160
I know. I'm surprised every time.
Randy does
No.
not prepare for something like that. Come on.
I think it's more authentic.
Yeah.
Usually I try to either take something from the show or take something from something I've learned today, or a conversation, or something I've read, or whatever, but the thing for me that stands out today is one of my, kind of personal core values, and that's service comes before success. Right. If you want to be a successful person, don't worry and focus on the success. Don't focus on the money. Don't focus on what that is. Focus on serving others.
Yep.
And I heard it. I was listening to, a thing this morning on the Bible app, actually reading a sermon thing, and he talked about how it's about success, and if you want to make $1 million, help 1 million people. Right? If you want to be successful, help other people succeed. So that's the takeaway for today. That's really been resonating with me quite a bit today, and I think it's a good lesson that all of us can kind of circle back. And the more success you have, that tends to kind of fade a little bit. So sometimes you got to kind of bring yourself back and focus on what got you to where you are, what got you to that success. And those who have sustained success are those who focus on serving others.
Absolutely. Well said. Kimba, what we got?
So I'm just gonna go. I feel like I'm gonna go right off of that, and also on theme with today, because we talked a lot about fear, and I did a live video yesterday where I also talked a lot about fear. So I'm gonna take something that I said from that live video, and it's on my page from yesterday. I want to go back and check it out, or anybody watching wants to go back and check it out. But what I say in that live video is you can't have both fear and power, right? So we can't be living in our internal power if we're also living in fear. We can't live up to our best possible selves, our best possible impact, or create the best possible impact hit that highest level of success if we're operating and we're constantly living in fear, and we're scared to hit that live video button, and we're scared to be transparent with who we are and get out there and do the things. So anytime that, even today, before I went on stage, I could have chose to be nervous. I could have chose to be scared, but I understand that I can't operate in both fear and power at the same time. I see that hold a lot of people back, is that they're just scared. And, so I just want to encourage the listeners today to choose one. You have to operate in fear or in power. You absolutely cannot do both at the same time. It's one of those things I say, sometimes we have to choose to make healthy eating choices so that we're choosing our health, because otherwise we're choosing against our health. And life really comes down to decisions, and it's no different when choosing fear or power. I think that that's one of the things that I'm constantly reminding myself of, Kimba, you're never going to get to your full potential if you operate in fear. We have to step into the power and the confidence. And for me, that's came with that building up that level of self-trust, that I know that I'll execute. I know that I can back up what I'm saying. I know that I'm showing up and being real. I know that I'm not in the social media world. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of people on social media that and I've been learning this the hard way, that they're not always who they seem to be. And, I'm very proud of the fact that when you meet me in real life, I'm just the same person. If you don't like me, then you know what I mean? But you're not going to catch somebody different on the Start, Build, Grow show than you are when you meet me in real life here at Grace and Grind. And I'm constantly reminding myself of that. Like, step into your power. You will attract your tribe. There's going to be people that don't like you. There's going to be things like that are said. But for me, it's coming back to that personal trust of, I trust Kimba. I know that I'm real. I know that I show up. I know that I execute. And therefore, you can trust me too. So there's no reason for me to be operating in a place of fear. I don't have room for that. I'm always going to choose power over fear. And I hope that our people that tuned in today will do the same.
I love it. Well, hey, let's all step into our power this week. I'm all about that. And Kimba, thanks for joining us. It's been such a great episode, so that really appreciate it.
I'm sorry for the background noise, y'all, too. I'm at this conference.
It's all good. It's all about the content.
Hey, we're just real people, man, doing real things, right?
Doing real things.
Thanks, Kimba. Hey, everybody out there, thanks for tuning in to episode 170 of the Start, Build, Grow Show.